Amidst the economic changes around the world, including the rise of digital technology, natural disasters, trade wars between China and the US, and the spread of COVID-19, the economic security of nation-states have been significantly impacted. Consequences resulting from the pandemic have also impacted Thailand, especially in the manufacturing, services, and tourism sectors, which have caused liquidation problems for businesses. Despite the Thai government launching economic stimulus packages and other benefits provided to their people, they might not be enough to fully regain stability. This crisis has changed the lives of people across the nation into a new normal in order to prepare for a digital economy system that will play an increasingly important role in our daily life in the near future. The International Institute for Trade and Development, public organization, saw the importance in a development and economic recovery plan for the post-pandemic world on the occasion of the 20th anniversary of our institute. ITD proudly presents the Trade and Development Regional Forum 2021, Recharging Asia, Inclusive Growth and Sustainable Development in a Post-Pandemic World. This regional forum will present crucial research on 3 key issues consisting of trade and investment, digital economy, and SDGs.
Sawadee and good afternoon, Excellencies, distinguished guests, honorable guest speakers as well. And first of all, I would like to welcome all of you to this virtual forum, which is called Recharging Asia, Inclusive Growth and Sustainable Development Amidst Post-Pandemic World, which is hosted by the ITD, or International Institute of Trade and Development. And here this afternoon, I'm with Sithiprasasana, will be your host for this entire afternoon. And for today afternoon, we have many honorable guests as well as speakers from both public and private sectors, both here in Thailand as well as international organizations. And the topics in which all of the speakers will be addressing for this afternoon will be how to overcome trade and investment challenges during this crisis of the COVID-19. Well, before we start off with the formality, I would like to bring all of you to learn a little bit more about our host for this event or the virtual forum, which is the International Institute of Trade and Development, or ITD.
Issue 1. Trade and Investment.
Despite the unprecedented economic slowdown and growing trend toward protectionism, especially outside our region, 15 countries in our region came together to sign the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP, in November of 2020. This is an important milestone for Asia-Pacific integration.
And we have to ensure our supply chains remain connected amidst the pandemic. And also we need to make sure that our markets, are open and we are allowing our businesses to have access. And I think this is where all the leaders in ASEAN are committed towards. What I'm noticing is, most parts of the world, and you will know that most parts of the world, they have actually moved towards greater protectionism, erecting even import bans.
The investment policy measures taken in the Southeast Asian region have almost all, without exception, been in the direction of more promotion, more facilitation of foreign direct investment. So this is really an exceptional case.
The management of ITD will invest and focus more on next year that how to grant or how to make the aid for trade to neighboring country. We can say grant, block grant, and ODA, something like that.
President Biden and his G7 partners agreed to launch this new global infrastructure initiative, Build Back Better World, as a values-driven, high-standard, transparent infrastructure partnership to help meet the more than $40 trillion infrastructure needs of the developing world.
If we maintain the transportation or move from one province to other province and ready for the exportation, if we maintain the logistics supply chain, so that the government requires the provinces and even the ministry had to facilitate the good transportation.
recovery plan is needed. One based on a change of policy direction in the advanced economies to sustain recovery and build resilience, jointly with reforms to the international economic architecture that could coordinate this effort and support developing countries in adopting similar measures. A new partnership is also needed of developed and developing countries around large infrastructure investment for clean and green growth. We already see some elements starting to emerge. A promise to treat health and education as global public goods, a commitment to a sufficiently financed green revolution, an infusion of liquidity through a new allocation of special drawing rights, and the announcement of a minimum global corporation tax. These are welcome as they are take up UNCTAD's policy recommendation. However, these are not enough. The question is COVID-19 game changer enough to lead sweeping and systemic change? Which kind of global Green New Deal we need to boost the demand and the global economy, which has to be a green economy? Public investment must take initiative in shifting the growth dynamic towards a carbon neutral outcome, focusing on energy efficiency and the shift in the energy mix towards renewables. These are ideas that need to be put on the table and implemented if we are going to get a more resilient recovery than the one after the global financial crisis. We need also to combine macroeconomic policies with industrial policies, with labor market policies and financial policies. And developing countries will need a significant amount of international support. Developing countries are not in the same position as most advanced economies in terms of their fiscal space. They don't issue a currency that is acceptable on global markets. They have heavily dependent on international borrowing. There are big gaps in the system that need to be closed. For example, we need serious debt relief that must include the involvement of private sector. We need further tax reform at the international level. We need to clamp down on illicit financial flows of multinational corporations. We need to expand policy space in developing countries. We need capital controls. We need to ease conditionalities on international lending. And we need to see various changes in the international trading system, including consideration of peace clauses in WTO disputes where COVID-19 related issues are in play, and a moratorium on ISDS disputes. I think also that we would like to see Doha Development Agenda negotiating finished to help rebuild trust in the international trading system, which is of course a precondition.
Issue 2. Digital economy.
Although there are physical and digital networks in many cities and regions, it may still require a lot of investment to make e-commerce reach more remote areas.
Apparently, it's not just in finance, not just in banking, but also in agriculture. Digitalization is quickly taking place in Malaysia.
The local government need to further develop legislations on the same direction with the ASEAN Economic Community Blueprint and ASEAN Work Program on Electronic Commerce.
COVID-19 pandemic have led industry to digitalization and automation by utilizing to a business and operation to increase that and reduce costs.
New technologies, automation, AI, robotics, and in their production. In addition, people have turned to digital payment and digital banking. The government has used the digital payment channels as an important channel to distribute financial support to people who are affected from the COVID-19 pandemic.
Of course, technologies is one important part of the solution, the recovery. Technologies means, of course, digitalization, but also all the other innovative technologies.
Issue 3. SDGs, other issues that do not overlap above, focusing on environment, inequality, and poverty.
For me, the war that will never end is a war against poverty, against deprivation, against inequalities.
European Union will always be on the front line when it comes to the fight for sustainability, the fight against climate change, and we are more than happy and willing to cooperate with all our partners at the global level to achieve these fundamental goals for our future and for the next generation's future.
Our priorities are in line with the goals of the Putrajaya Vision 2040 as we continue on our path towards an open, dynamic, resilient, and peaceful Asia-Pacific community that leaves no one behind. This will help rebuild our economies, create greener jobs, and build a better world for our future generations.
Future policy should focus on ensuring economic access to all people while taking into consideration the need to protect natural resources and the environment.
To use trade to improve living standards across the world, to create jobs, and to promote sustainable development. With these fundamental objectives in mind, action at the WTO this year could help recharge Asia.
We do not know how many people die because of the economic woe and difficulties that are caused by the COVID in the past 2 years. But I'm sure that they are not a small number. They say that we should not waste a crisis. In every crisis, not only there's opportunity, but there are a lot of lessons that we have to learn from it before we move forward. The big lesson that I think we see from analyzing this death toll of the COVID inequality.
Fourth is to turn the crisis into an opportunity by preparing the businesses to recover better through new areas of business, BCG, or the bio, circular, and green economy. So in addition to establishing the first Business and Human Rights Academy in Southeast Asian region as a formal training and consulting ground, GCNT also launched tools and guidance on wisdom. We promoted the guidance on human rights due diligence and COVID-19, a rapid self-assessment for business to support our members and companies outside of the UN Global Compact to review how they can respond, recover, and be resilient from the pandemic.
In the long term, international community must address several issues as the pandemic laid bare the pre-existing conditions that were threatening the health of the global economy. This includes hyper inequality, unsustainable debt levels, weak investment, wage stagnation in the developed world, and insufficient formal sector in the developing world.
Well, that's really sum up everything about the past 3 days in this Recharging Asia Trade and Development Regional Forum. And we, the ITD, especially the Executive Director, really hope this event really give us the opportunity to equip ourselves with new information and new perspective of trade and development issues in our region, in Asia, in ASEAN, as well as in Thailand as well. And of course, thanks for all the honorable speakers who have been participating in the past 3 days, and of course, participants. But before we leave you, I would like to ask all of you, in order to submit your feedback on the forum via this QR code, which will be appearing pretty soon, and all feedback will be appreciated as we can use as a foundation for further improvement when we see each other again. But anyway, thank you very much for the Executive Director of ITD, International Institute for Trade and Development.
ITD hopes that the participants have enhanced and gained extensive knowledge in trade, development, and innovation to be able to implement and adapt these specialties to their field. Moreover, we hope that this regional forum will solve and manage problems and move forward toward a new normal future that is stable and stronger together. See you next year at the Trade and Development Regional Forum 2022. Thank you, and please stay up to date with us via the web on our website www.itd.or.th, as well as on social media via Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and enter ITD Live in the search bar.